Give a man a fish and he'll eat tonight, but if you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life. There are a ton of places that provide sales scripts, and they teach you the sales script that they have. However, I'm going to attempt to teach you how to structure and write your own sales script. I want to manage several different businesses, and all of those businesses, they all sell a variety of different products and services. So over the last few weeks, I happened to have to write 3 unique sales scripts. And I was just thinking that this is a skill that's maybe worth sharing. It's actually a lot simpler than you think. Essentially, it's broken down into 7 different parts and a few subparts. But I'm going to give you all of them in a very simple, easy-to-use framework so that you can create your own whenever you need. Any sales script you look at, they're all pretty much contain the same structure. They might divide them differently. Instead of having 7 parts, they might have 4 parts or 9 parts or 6. They might use different terminology to classify each of those sections. But at the end of the day, every sales script basically has all of these parts in it. For me, I like to break them down into the following 7. Common ground, information gathering, past decisions, motivations, problem-solution awareness, benefits and unique selling opportunity, and of course, the pitch. So let's get right into each one. Common ground. So typically when a potential client first meets you, whether it be over the phone or a message or in person, they're all usually very, very reserved. I like to think of them as somebody who's walking in with their forearms up right above their face. They can't even see you. They're walking in with like a shield in front of them. That shield is separating you from them. They obviously have at least some level of interest in what you're selling, but they know that you are selling something, so they need to be very careful. So it's important in the beginning of the meeting to break the ice just a little bit, to try to ask several penetrating questions and see if there's anything you guys have in common. If you are able to master this skill and identify something in common with them, they will put their guard completely down or at least partially down because they'll feel much more comfortable with you because they'll be like, oh wow, he's just like me. Years ago, I was touring a couple right downstairs at my gym. They were super reserved, super tight-lipped. I could not get anything out of them. I couldn't get them to show any kind of body language whatsoever. No sense of them relaxing at all. I like to try to get them to relax a little bit before I go on the tour. We usually sit down in our little office, we ask them some questions, then we go on the tour, then we come back and we bring them back to the cubicle, and that's where the pitch is. That's typically how it runs. But for this couple, I couldn't get them to relax. So at the very end of the tour, I was walking them towards the nursery, which happens to be closed, and all the lights were off at the time. I turned the lights on to show them that, hey, this is the nursery. It's included with the membership. Then their faces opened with excitement. They had 2 young children. I asked them how old their kids were. Coincidentally, their 2 kids were the same exact ages as my 2 kids. They said, oh, really? I said, yeah, my 2 boys basically grew up in this nursery. And then it was just like smooth sailing from there. They looked at me in a whole nother light. We were like the same age, our kids were the same age. It was as if we were all on the same boat together. They didn't feel like I was some kind of sleazy salesperson anymore, trying to sell them something. They felt comfortable with me, and closing the sale was now just a foregone conclusion. This is definitely a skill to practice and tackle. You can do this in all interactions that you have, and you don't have to be in a selling opportunity. Every time you meet somebody, try to figure out if you have anything in common with this person. And the quicker you could do this, the better you'll get at this. I have this sales associate who works for me, and she is absolutely fantastic at this. Like literally in 30 seconds, every single time, she finds something uniquely in common with every single person. One time, she was talking with a prospect, and 30 seconds, boom, she figures out that they were born in the same hospital like the same week. Could you imagine going through an entire sales pitch with somebody who was born in the same hospital that you were born in? You would feel a very unique sense of kinship to that person. You will not feel like this is a sleazy salesperson. You will not feel like this is a sleazy sales situation, so establishing the common ground early on is a super great way to get the ball rolling before you get into the meat and potatoes of what they were here for. So for this part, write down a couple of questions that you think you want to ask to a new prospect when you first meet them. Like, for instance, some good questions are always, where are you coming from? Where do you live? Where are you located? What do you do for work? How's the weather? How many kids do you have? Where did you get that jacket? That's a nice hat. Oh, you're a Lakers fan? Anything just to get the ball rolling. So in this part, sit down and write 3, 5, 10 questions. It doesn't matter. Something to help you get that penetration. You don't have to ask all those questions. You just have to ask like 1 or 2 or 3 just to get them to loosen up and find that common ground. It's good to have far more questions on here than you'll actually even ask, just in case one set of questions aren't really working for you. You could switch it up and ask something completely different. It's just a quick frame of reference that you can use when you're in front of a prospect. So the next section is the information gathering part. Now that they know that you are a real person just like them, it's now time to get to why they're speaking to you. Before I start asking the questions, I like to ask this question first. And you could use this exact question yourself. I think it's a good way to introduce what your intentions are. So this is exactly what I say. So to start off, just to let you know, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I'm at the point of my career where I really have the luxury and privilege of just working with people who I'm super compatible with. It actually works a lot better for me. It definitely works better for you. In order to determine that, and again, if it's all right with you, I'm going to ask you a series of questions to see if this is a good fit. If it is, then I'll make you the offer and discuss with you precisely what we do. Does that sound fair? So that's actually what I say. You could change it up, but that's pretty much a good way to begin the conversation, because then they are aware and are expecting you to ask questions that you need. It's positioning you as the alpha, the leader, the expert, the one who's in control of this conversation. Plus, they also have a sense of comfort that this is going according to plan, and you know what you're doing because you've done this for a long time. Okay. So for much of this exercise here, you're gonna put your own questions in, but from time to time, I'm gonna highly recommend some of the questions to ask because they're super valuable. Also, a common thing in all sales scripts is you want to get them to say yes to things, right? You want to get them to say yes to things you know that they're going to say yes to. Think of it like the more times they're saying yes throughout the entire sales pitch, then the more likely they're going to say yes at the end. So here you want to start writing down some preliminary questions that will help you get to the broader scope of who you're talking to and what they're looking to do. So just think, what's the first question you normally ask somebody? And then what's the follow-up question you're gonna ask them? And the follow-up to that. Here's just a boilerplate understanding of where they're coming from and how they heard about you, what they're looking to achieve, what their goals are. That's what you want to accomplish here. Some examples of those questions are as follows. How did you hear about us? How did you hear about me? Why did you message us today? Why did you contact me today? What are your goals? Oh, to lose weight, great. How much weight do you want to lose? How much do you weigh now, if you don't mind me asking? Again, this is just like boilerplate type stuff. It's just the very beginning of the understanding of where they're at, what their intentions are. The next section I like to call is past decisions. So now the key to this section is to start to show them how to differentiate between what they've done in the past and what your program delivers. So understanding their past decisions will help you continue to sculpt the rest of this sales pitch. And the types of questions that you want to fill in the gaps or fill in the voids of what was lacking in their program. And fear not, there are gaps, there is a void, because if there wasn't, then they wouldn't be talking to you in the first place. So you're looking for the gaps, you're looking for what the reasons are why something hasn't worked for them in the past. So no matter what they say, they're still not using whatever they did in the past, either because it didn't work or it just wasn't sustainable. But our program, your program, is sustainable because of these three things. You'll be providing to them fitness, nutrition, and accountability. Anything they've done in the past didn't have all of those three things. Then that's why they're not already at their goal, and that's why they can't sustain it. So here are some sample questions that you can ask them. What have you done before? How long have you done it? How did that work? What else have you done? And with each answer, they sort of check off the box of what they did. If it was, for instance, Weight Watchers, then obviously that provides nutrition and accountability, but it doesn't provide fitness. If they used to take spin classes all the time, then obviously that's checking the fitness box, but it's not doing anything as far as weight training, it's not addressing their nutrition, it's no accountability whatsoever. Whatever they say to you, it's something that's not working for them in the long run. Let's say 5 years ago, before I had my kid, I was doing CrossFit and I lost all this weight, I was in tip-top shape, I hit my goal, everything was terrific. Oh, that's great, but why aren't you still doing CrossFit? Well, I sort of got injured and then I got injured again and I recovered and I got injured again. I don't think I could keep doing that type of workout anymore. Or maybe they say that they were doing this carnivore diet or a vegan diet after a while, and then they fell off because all of those things are just not sustainable. Whether it's the high intensity CrossFit or super restrictive diets, those are not sustainable. So maybe it allowed them to achieve a goal for a period of time, but it wasn't sustainable. So what you're doing here is essentially just highlighting to them, repeating back to them what they did and what they didn't do. Okay, so you did Weight Watchers, right? So they were really good with helping you stay accountable for what you're eating, and they were good at giving you guidance as far as what to eat, but they obviously weren't providing you any kind of fitness guidance, correct? It's important to keep asking them for confirmation so they're in agreement and that we're all on the same page. The next section is motivations. So this is where the conversation gets a lot deeper. If you get your prospect to really open up and start talking, if they're talking uninterrupted for like over a minute about something super personal, your chances of landing this sale have gone up 90%. The goal throughout this entire process is to get them to open up. And this section about talking about their motivations is where they really have the chance to do exactly that, if they haven't done so already. So you can say something like this: I know why you are here. You're interested in my program because you want to lose weight. But why do you want to lose the weight? Okay, why is that important to you? How important is it? Why today? I got it, but why right now? Why not yesterday? What is your time frame for losing weight? All of those are going deeper than the surface level of why they came in today or why they're talking to you today. It's getting deeper to the root cause. You want them to kind of open up and say, well, the reason why today is because last week my neighbor had a heart attack and they're like 3 years younger than me, or the reason why is I want to see my doctor and he said that I have high blood pressure and I have to either start taking this medicine or I have to lose some weight. Or maybe it's just I have 2 pairs of pants remaining that I can actually fit into, and I either have to get all new pants for my wardrobe this winter season or start losing weight immediately. Whatever it is that they tell you, that's the underlying forces that's driving the emotional reasons why they really want to lose weight, not just for the sake of losing weight. Here's a great question. It is really revealing. It is not a multiple choice question. It is the equivalence of a written answer, and there's no wrong answers type of question. It's super helpful. What would you like to achieve? What is your vision? If you were to come aboard here into our program, what is your ideal scenario? What would you like the most ideal outcome to be? Another question that I really like, and regardless of how you structure your sales script, you really should have this question on there no matter what. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for you to achieve this goal? Or how important is your health and fitness? Now, The answer of those two questions are very, very helpful because it helps you structure your pitch and the rest of the conversation. If they're telling you flat out what their most ideal scenario is and what they want to achieve, then you're basically going to say verbatim the things that they want to achieve. It's something that's not only possible, but guaranteed with your program. Secondly, most people who are inquiring about your service are obviously, or more than likely, pretty motivated. So when you ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for you to achieve this goal? They're probably going to say something like an 8, a 9, a 10, a 12, something like that. So later on, when they're trying to haggle the price with you, or even before then, and you're doing your pitch, you can remind them to don't forget, you said on a scale of 1 to 10, this was a 12 of importance for you. That's how you could use it. Does that make sense? So the next section is diagnosis of the problem and solution awareness. So now this is where you start coming in for the landing here. Here's where you start getting closer to the sales pitch. So on this section, what's important to do is get them to start to understand what problem they have and what the solution is that they need. So I need to lift more weights, and I need to make sure that I'm consistently doing it. I need someone to give me some accountability, to help me with the accountability side. Once they say that out loud, then they're reassuring that that's the type of services that they need. They're basically selling themselves. So some basic questions could be, what do you think has prevented you from losing X number of weight? In the past, what has prevented you from achieving this goal? Why do you think the diet or the fitness routine you had in the past just fell off? What made you stop one of those routines? So based on what you're telling me, what do you think you should do the next time? What do you think you should do this time? What do you think is different? What do you think you should do differently so that you can achieve your goals in a more sustainable way? The goal here is to get them to see the light, to get them to start to put the pieces together and to realize that this is really what they need. The goal is to get them to be 100% in agreement on the path moving forward, that this is the path that they need to take to achieve their goals. And that path is with your program. You want them to believe this, even before they even know what the price is or what the cost of the program is. They may not be able to afford it, but they'll at least be in agreement that this is what they need to do to hit their goal, to achieve success. Plus, the best part about it is, subconsciously or even consciously, they'll start to think that this was their idea, that they figured out the problem and that they know what they need to do to succeed. It's their idea. And when someone has their own idea, they're going to be much more protective of enforcing it. So the next section is the benefits and the selling opportunity, right down here. So by now, at this point of the conversation, hopefully they don't look at you as a salesperson. Hopefully, from finding some common ground, from them opening up a little bit and telling some personal stuff with you, that it's very personal, some very personal stuff from the information gathering stage, even through the motivational stage. You want them to feel super comfortable with you and that they feel comfortable enough with you that means that they are not thinking of you as a salesperson anymore. They're thinking of you as somebody who they can genuinely feel that can help them. So if you have achieved this emotional penetration with them, then you're basically going to give them your opinion as what you think that they should do going forward, which will be very powerful. You can now give them your opinion and they won't think it's biased. They'll believe that you have their best interest at heart. And an example of what I'm referring to is here. Based on the discussions and what you've told me, honestly, I think you're the perfect candidate for my program. As I told you before, I'm not looking to take on clients that I can't help, but I'm confident I could definitely help you. The reason why I think you're the perfect candidate is because XYZ, ABC, 1, 2, 3, all of these different reasons. You're going to list them out. Then essentially just go through the list, all the different things that they told you, like how you're relatable and why they're a good candidate for that reason, what their goals are and the things that they need to do and the things that they've been missing in their program, and how those specific things are provided in your service. And you feel like you can absolutely help them, you're totally 100% confident. If you have achieved this level in the relationship, you can say things like, in my opinion, I really think I can help you. Or in my opinion, I know I can help you. In my opinion, this is what I think you should do. And they will heed your advice now. So now we're into the pitch. So first off, right before the pitch, what I like to do is I like to ask them, do you have any other questions? If you have any other questions, other than the price, obviously, then address those questions with them, one by one, until all of them are exhausted. Then I like to ask another really good question that I highly recommend that you say. How does this feel for you? How do you feel so far about this program? If you're done your job at this point, they're going to say something like, this feels great, I feel pretty comfortable about this whole thing, I'm pretty excited. If they're giving you any kind of positive feedback at this point, you're in really, really good shape. You want them to say something like, something super positive as you're going right into the pitch. You want them to be positive as you're marching towards the pitch. So here you begin your pitch. First, you're going to essentially cite all of the things that they get as part of your program. This is an example of what I do and what we offer. It's a done-for-you macronutrient guide. So what you get as part of the program is you get a done-for-you macro nutritional guide, you get a done-for-you training plan to your schedule and the equipment that you have access to. It's a daily accountability check-ins with your coach. You get educational videos, access to our Facebook group account, 24/7 access to the coaching team to answer any of the questions you have, plus one-on-one coaching assessment call to ensure that you're satisfied with your results. And you also get a weekly video check-in for personalized guidance to stay on track. After you go through the list of the bullet points that you're offering, all the items that you include in your program, it's super important to remind them of what sets you apart from everybody else that they've tried in the past. You could say something like, again, just wanted to reiterate that the reason why this program is foolproof is because we help in all three areas, the accountability, fitness, and nutrition. Now, the next section I'm going to get into, there is 4 additional subparts of the pitch. That what they do is they enhance your pitch. They're not necessary, but they all enhance your pitch. It's the guarantee, scarcity, urgency, and the bonuses. So what the guarantee does is it's super helpful for people who are like on the fence, who are worried about whether this is going to work or not. If there are people that they want to do it, but they've perhaps been burned in the past and they're not sure if it's really going to work for them. That's where the guarantee could be kind of helpful for them. It pushes them over the edge. There's several different ways to do a guarantee. You can do the unconditional guarantee, you can do a conditional guarantee. It's really up to you and your comfort level. I suggest what we use, I say something along the lines of, we are so confident in our program that we'll give you all your money back times 2 if you don't hit your goal weight by the goal time. Just as long as you in good faith follow all of our instructions and commit in good faith to the program, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That is a conditional guarantee. That's what we use. If you're not doing the workouts or following the program, then it'll be transparent, and obviously, if and when they don't hit their goals, it's an easy conversation to have with them that they really weren't putting their best efforts in. And if they were doing the things that they were supposed to be doing, losing weight is simply just math, and they will absolutely lose the weight. And for me, I'd be willing to get their attention by saying I'll double pay them back if they don't. And again, you can do whatever you are comfortable with, but the guarantee is helpful for those who are skeptical. The next one is scarcity. It's super powerful. It's arguably the most powerful one in terms of how it really attacks their sense of fear. In my opinion, it has more of a psychological impact, more of an emotional impact than all the others. It plays into their fear of missing out. What you want to do is create a narrative where the resource that you are providing, the services that you're providing is a scarcity. because it's scarce. So now you might be thinking that that's a little dishonest. I could take on hundreds of clients. Well, even if that's true, even if you can take on hundreds of clients, if you were actually able to sustain providing quality service to hundreds of clients, even if that was true, your service is still scarce. You could only take on hundreds of clients. There's a limit to the number of clients that you can actually handle. That's the point. So in order for them to take advantage of your service, you're telling them that in order for them to get in, they have to get in now for your service before it becomes no longer even on the market. Let me demonstrate on how to deliver it. I'm not going to lie, this has been a very successful program, and we've had a significant number of people joining. Obviously, it's a lot more than we originally anticipated. Fortunately, this is a gym, and I have a lot of other qualified trainers here. However, for me, I can only take on so many at a time. I have only so many hours in the day, and as you can see, I really put in a lot. I put in a lot of effort to every one of my clients, you could tell. In order to continue to do that, I have to maintain a low number of clientele. This week, people started registering for my program, but currently I have already signed up 9 people this week, and I have 3 spots left. That is pretty much what we do. Don't tell them that there's 1 spot left, unless I guess there actually is. That's less believable. Tell them I already have 6 signed up, I have 8 signed up, I have 5, I have 9. Tell them that there's 2 or 3 spots left. It's more believable giving them numbers like that. It's creating that fear of missing out. Plus, since I'm running it through my health club, the trainer is saying that we could still work with you, but you might have to work with a different trainer. If you don't sign up soon, which makes it very, very believable, and it's not incorrect, if they don't sign up at a certain point, that trainer really could get filled up, and they could really have to go with another trainer. So we're telling them the truth. We have 9 people signed up. There's a few spots left. There's 3 spots left. If you would like to be in one of those spots, you have to sign up before everybody else does. This is a much more powerful tool than a fear of just time running out, because it's a fear of them missing out on some deal that everyone else is doing. But they're not getting into the program. It's very effective when you say it like that. Some people confuse scarcity with urgency, but think of it like a movie theater. It might be like, there might be a promotion where it's like 25% off for like a movie ticket if you sign up before the end of the day or something like that. However, if there is a movie that you're interested in seeing and there's only a few seats left in the movie theater, you're trying to book it through Fandango or something like that, you pretty much are you're not gonna wait till later to do it because you see that you're going to lose out on those seats, right? That's so much more of a motivator than the other way around, right? Now we get to urgency. Urgency is something that you've likely used before. It's like a sale or a midnight promotion, something that ends at the end of the week, or something like a ticking time bomb, right? And this is also where you can introduce your price point. When you do introduce your price, it's always a good idea to show what the price is normally and then what your price is at this very minute. And if you sign up now, this is the price that you'll get. But if you wait, then the promotion ends and you'll miss out and not have to pay the new price, you'll have to pay the price in full. That's basically how to deliver urgency. Here's an example of how we implement urgency into our pitch. Normally, my initiation fee to enroll into this program is $249 as initiation. And then it's $999 for 3 months of coaching. However, because you took advantage of our Kickstart program, for those who are signing up before this whole program concludes on Sunday, you're going to get 2 types of discounts. Number 1, I'm not going to charge you that initiation fee at all. That's the $249 is going to be $0 now. The reason is, well, because you're already currently in the program. I don't need to reevaluate you. I already have your program drawn up. I know everything about you. I don't need to charge you an initiation because you're already initiated. And number 2, the second thing you get is everyone who signs up prior to the conclusion of the program, which is this Sunday, I'm giving out a first come, first served discount, which means you could sign up for the 3 months of coaching for only $597. That's $400 less than if you sign up after Sunday. Does that sound good for you? So there's a lot to unpack there. First of all, the initiation fee of $249, a lot of times people think of those types of fees as being like fake or something that's not real. A tool that salespeople use to just jack up the prices. However, by going into detail and explaining that I don't need to charge you this initiation fee, I've already been working with you and I already know who you are, I have your program down already. I don't need to spend time and invest more of my time to developing a program for you. I've already done that. So I'm going to waive the initiation fee. I don't need to charge you for that. By saying something like that, what that actually does is it actually provides and brings value to the initiation fee. It gives them a sense that they've already invested time and energy into this program. They've already done it themselves. And if they don't sign up, they're essentially like losing the $250, right? Because they've invested their own time and energy into just getting to know you also. You've gotten to know them, you've explained to them their medical and fitness history, and you're rationalizing why you charge the $249. It's not just like a fee or a bonus money. It's actually there for your time to set up the program initially. And all that takes work, so they feel subconsciously like they're starting to think like, well, if I don't sign up, then I'm kind of losing all that time, all that money, all that investment of the $250 is already gone. So that's how this $249 initiation fee could be very, very helpful. Then obviously you want to create some kind of a narrative where they're getting some kind of a discount if they sign up for you by a certain time for the regular, meat and potatoes part of the product. And then you want to make that discount substantial, so it's really worth their while. The last part where I say, does that sound good for you? That is very, very critical. It's a really, really good tactic to use. I highly recommend it. If you read a dozen sales books, they'll all tell you that after you make your pitch, you're supposed to sit and wait. And the first person who talks loses, right? That's what everybody says. Well, sometimes when you're done talking, that becomes a super awkward silence. Sometimes the customer is like thinking, well, maybe is he still talking? Is he got something else to say? And you're both just sitting there staring at each other. However, you're forcing the issue by asking them, does that sound good to you? If you've done your pitch correctly, even if they don't want it or if they can't afford it, you're not asking them if they're for the sale. You're asking them if it sounds good to you. They're not going to be rude and say it doesn't sound good. They're going to probably say yes, it does sound good, which gives you yet another yes answer and another inch closer to them going for the program. What do you think they're going to say? No, F you, it doesn't sound good? Of course not. They're going to say it sounds great. It sounds good. It's going to make it a lot harder for them to say no at this point, right? It's going to make it much, much more difficult for them to make a 180-degree turnaround. Yeah, it sounds great, but I can't do it. What are they going to say? So you ask that question and then you wait. Just wait for them to respond. Now, if you sold the program similarly, the way I've sold the program, where this is essentially an upsell from their trial. If they say yes, you don't have to get their information, you don't have to get their credit card the way I do it. You don't have to get anything because you already got it originally before this happened. You just have to say, great, I could use the card that I have on file for you already, and you're in the program, we'll send you over a welcome packet, la 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 la. Whatever it is in your onboarding sequences. It makes it super easy, and it makes the barrier for entry very, very low. So I hope this was helpful. So click the link below, and we'll have a template for you that you could create your very own sales script. So essentially, you just add in a handful of questions in each one of these sections. And then when you put it all together, you have your very own sales script. Just sit down and think about the questions you would ask for each one of these sections. It's like a sophisticated version of Mad Libs. Now, when you are developing your next service or program or a thing that you want to sell, you could just take this out and create your own sales script. And then the next year, and 6 months from now, 5 years from now, whatever it is, if you have a new business, a new product, a new service that you want to sell, you can just take this sales script template out and create your very own new sales script that's specific to that venture. Good luck. I hope this was helpful.